In today's video, I'm going to be talking about protective techniques. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Mike Mulligan here. Thank you so much for joining me today. And today I'm going to be talking about two different protective techniques, upper protective and lower protective. Hopefully this will be helpful. These are good techniques to use, especially kind of temporary situations, which I'll explain in a minute, as a way of protecting yourself from different objects. So the first technique I want to talk about is the upper protective technique. This technique is used for many different situations, both indoors and outdoors. Indoors, it could be used as a way of protecting one's face or chest level and above from, say, a cabinet that's left open, a door frame, a door. And then outdoors, it could be used for protecting oneself from tree branches. Maybe there's a low-hanging pole or wire. So this is a good technique to be used in many different situations, but it's really kind of a temporary technique to use. So let me explain to you now how to do the upper protective technique. It's pretty simple to do, and I think you'll get it very quickly. But the upper protective technique is you're going to put your arm, either one, it could be left or right, in front of your face. Your hand is going to be about 6 to 12 inches away from your face because you want to give yourself some time. If you run into an object, you have some reaction time and it's not your hand hitting you in the face. And you want your arm to be somewhat diagonal because that's going to give you the most protection from objects coming in. And also I have my elbow slightly bent, a little past 90 degrees, maybe 45 degrees, as a way of, if you do come in contact with an object, you have reaction time, as well as if you're stiff-armed, if your arm's completely straight, that could really put some force on your shoulder, elbow, or wrist. So upper protective technique looks like this. It can be done with either hand, and it can also be done with a dog or with a white cane. And now I'm going to talk about the lower protective technique. This technique is helpful for, I think, more indoor situations because it's a good way of detecting maybe a chair or a table or a coffee table, different things that you might come in contact with. And many people don't use a white cane indoors, so this is a good way of at least giving you some warning. Maybe you're coming up to a counter that's really kind of waist level area. So this is going to be the lower protective technique. Okay, and now I'm going to demonstrate to you the lower protective technique. This technique is also very similar to the upper protective technique and it's pretty easy to do. For the lower protective technique, you're going to have your hand probably about 6 to 12 inches away from your body again. I kind of like to think from belt buckle out is a good indicator. So I go from my belt buckle, extend my hand about 12 inches. Again, my arm's about 45 degrees bent for similar reasons as the upper technique. But this time, the back of my hand is facing out instead of the palm in the upper hand technique because it's just really awkward to try and get your palm facing away from you in this technique. So 45 degrees, about 12 inches away from my belt buckle or my waist, and that's the lower protective technique. And one other thing I wanted to point out is that both of these techniques can be used at the same time. You'll probably run into this more when you're indoors, but you can have one arm up in front of your face, and you can also have one down covering your waist area. So these are the basic protective techniques. I hope this was helpful. This is a good way of keeping yourself safer. You're not going to catch everything all the time, but it is a good way of giving you a little bit extra protection, even if you're using a cane or a dog, or you're indoors and you're using both techniques at once. So hopefully this will be helpful. Keep this in your toolbox. You never know when you might need it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful. If you enjoy these videos and you feel like you're learning something, if you could subscribe, that'd be super helpful. And have a great day.